The signal came on a Tuesday morning in 2157. Every radio telescope on Earth picked it up at the same time. The message was clear, structured, and unmistakably artificial. Someone out there was saying hello. Dr. Hana stood in the control room of the Beijing Space Observatory, her hands shaking as she listened to the decoded transmission. It was a greeting in mathematics, the universal language, patterns that told Earth they were not alone, that the galaxy had been waiting for them. The world celebrated for 3 days. Every news channel showed the same images: people dancing in the streets, children pointing at the stars, world leaders shaking hands and promising a new era of unity. Humanity had finally joined the cosmic community. Then Dr. Hana called a meeting that changed everything. 27 people sat in that secret room in Geneva. Scientists, military leaders, historians, and philosophers. They listened as Dr. Hana explained what she had discovered in the alien transmissions. The galaxy was not empty. 47 different species were out there, all talking to each other, all waiting for Earth to respond. If we answer now, Dr. Hana said quietly, we enter their game with no knowledge of the rules. We will be the newest, weakest player at a table of experts. History shows us what happens to the weak when they meet the strong. The room fell silent. Everyone understood. Every civilization on Earth had experienced it. The colonizers and the colonized, the conquerors and the conquered. Technology gaps led to domination, always. A general from North America spoke first. What are you suggesting? We listen, Dr. Hana replied. We learn everything about them before they learn anything about us. We stay silent and build in the darkness until we are ready. The debate lasted 14 hours. Some argued it was paranoid. Others called it wise. In the end, they voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth would not respond. Not yet. They called it Project Long Listen. The next day, every nation on Earth signed the Silence Protocol. No transmissions into space. No responses to alien messages. Total information blackout. The world's governments told their people it was for safety, that they needed time to prepare. Most believed it. Those who didn't were quietly convinced. The alien messages kept coming. Thousands of them every day. Greetings in hundreds of languages, scientific formulas, star maps, cultural exchanges, offers of friendship and trade. Earth recorded everything, decoded everything, and replied to nothing. In the galactic assembly far away, the other species noticed. The new signal from the blue planet had stopped. They sent more messages, louder messages, question after question. Are you there? Can you hear us? Why don't you answer? Earth remained silent. Years passed. Then decades. The galaxy gave Earth a name, the Silent World. Theories spread like wildfire. Some species thought humans had destroyed themselves in war. Others believed Earth's civilization was too primitive to understand the messages. A few thought it was a religious world that rejected outside contact. None of them guessed the truth. While the galaxy debated and theorized, Earth was busy. Every transmission was studied. Every language learned. Every piece of data analyzed. Humanity built the most detailed picture of galactic civilization that had ever existed. They knew the politics, the wars, the alliances, the trade routes, and the secrets. Dr. Hana led a team of 10,000 linguists who decoded every alien language. They learned to speak like natives of 47 different worlds. They understood the jokes, the insults, the poetry. They knew these species better than the species knew themselves. Meanwhile, engineers pushed technology forward at unprecedented speed. Fusion power became standard. Quantum computers solved problems that seemed impossible. Nanotechnology rebuilt matter at the molecular level. Genetic science eliminated disease and extended human lifespans. Artificial intelligence reached heights that frightened even its creators. Most importantly, Earth built weapons. Not the primitive missiles and bombs of old wars. New weapons. Terrible weapons. Weapons designed after studying 230 years of galactic military history. Weapons that exploited every weakness in alien technology. Admiral Taman oversaw the military development from a base hidden on the dark side of the moon. His ships could cross vast distances in moments using quantum drives. His weapons could phase through energy shields that the galaxy considered impenetrable. His AI could predict enemy tactics before they were executed. We are not building an army, Admiral Taman told his officers. We are building a deterrent. When we finally speak, no one will dare silence us. By 2387, Earth was ready. Not just ready, superior. But still, they waited. Then Mira found something. She was young, only 26, working the night shift at the Earth Communications Authority. Her job was routine: monitor transmissions, log anything unusual, and file reports. Boring work that usually involved nothing more interesting than solar interference. But on this night, Mira noticed a pattern. A series of messages between two alien species, encoded in a way that suggested secrecy. She ran the decryption protocols Dr. Hana had developed decades ago. The messages unscrambled. Her blood ran cold. The Vorak Empire, one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy, was planning something. They had designated Earth as a quarantine candidate. The messages discussed resource extraction, population containment, and harvest schedules. They were planning to invade, not immediately but soon. Earth's long silence had convinced them humanity was either dead or too weak to matter. Mira sent the report up the chain. Within hours, it reached Admiral Taman. Within a day, it was on the desk of every world leader. An emergency session convened. The same room in Geneva where Project Long Listen had begun, now filled with the grandchildren of those original decision-makers. Dr. Hana was there too, older now but still sharp. "The silence has served its purpose," she said. "We know them. We are ready. If we wait any longer, we risk attack before we can establish ourselves. It is time." Admiral Taman nodded. "Agreed. We speak, but we speak with strength. We show them we are not prey." The vote was quick. Earth would break its silence. Captain Daejung received his orders on the RSS Horizon, Earth's flagship vessel, positioned in high orbit. He was 43 years old, had trained his entire adult life for this moment, and felt the weight of 230 years of preparation on his shoulders. "Prepare the transmission," he ordered his communications officer. "All frequencies, all languages. Let the galaxy know we were always listening." The message was prepared exactly as planned. A simple greeting in 47 languages simultaneously, each one grammatically perfect, culturally appropriate, and historically informed. The message included Earth's entire cultural database, scientific achievements, and a polite request for diplomatic contact. Most importantly, the message made something clear. Earth had heard everything. Every transmission, every secret, every lie, for 230 years. At precisely midnight Greenwich Mean Time on December 31st, 2387, Earth spoke to the galaxy. The transmission burst across space at light speed, reaching the nearest alien worlds within hours, the farthest within days. Earth's satellites tracked the responses as they began flooding back. Shock, confusion, fear. The galaxy had not expected this. They had written off the silent world as lost or primitive. Instead, they discovered a civilization that had been watching them all along, learning, planning, and building. Captain Daejung stood on the bridge of the horizon, watching the response counts climb into the thousands. Beside him stood G1, the engineer who had helped design the quantum drives that made Earth ships the fastest in the galaxy. "Do you think they will accept us?" G1 asked quietly. "Some will," Daejung replied. "Others will see us as a threat. But after 230 years of silence, we are finally going to find out who our friends are and who our enemies are." Far away, in the council chamber of the Galactic Collective, 47 species were having emergency meetings. The humans had spoken, and their first words had changed everything. The silent world was silent no more, and the galaxy trembled. The response from the galaxy came faster than expected. Within 6 hours of Earth's transmission, over 3,000 messages flooded back. Some were welcoming. Many were suspicious. A few were openly hostile. Ambassador Sunmi read through them in her quarters aboard the RSS Horizon. She had spent 50 years preparing for this role, studying every known alien culture, learning their customs and protocols. She had practiced their greetings so many times she could perform them in her sleep. Now it was real. She was Earth's first voice to the galaxy, and she could not afford to fail. The Galactic Collective had sent an official invitation. They wanted humanity to appear before their council for formal introduction. It was phrased politely, but Sunmi recognized the undertone. They were nervous. They wanted to see humans up close to assess the threat. Captain Daejung entered her office. "We will arrive at the station in 2 hours. Are you ready?" Sunmi smiled. "I have been ready for 50 years. The question is whether they are ready for us." The collective's central station hung in neutral space, a massive structure built by a dozen different species. It looked like a small moon made of metal and light. Thousands of ships from across the galaxy docked there every day. It was the heart of galactic civilization. The horizon approached slowly. Sunmi had insisted on this. No need to show off their speed yet. Let them think Earth's ships were ordinary. Surprises were more effective when saved for the right moment. As they docked, Sunmi caught her first glimpse of alien life through the viewport. Creatures of every imaginable shape moved through the station corridors. Some walked on legs. Others floated. A few seemed to phase in and out of visible light. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. Lieutenant Minho, the tactical officer, walked beside her as they exited the ship. He was there for protection, though he wore no visible weapons. Earth's technology had moved beyond such crude tools. The council chamber was enormous. 47 species sat in a circular arrangement, each in their designated area. The architecture accommodated different atmospheres and gravities. Some aliens breathed gases toxic to others. Somehow they made it work. At the center stood Counselor Vex, an avian creature with golden feathers and sharp eyes. He was considered one of the wisest members of the collective. He spoke first, his voice translated in real time by the chamber's systems. "We greet the humans of Earth. We confess your silence confused us for many generations. Why did you not answer our calls?" Sunmi stepped forward. She wore simple clothing, no elaborate costume or armor. Humanity did not need decoration to command respect. When she spoke, she used the collective's common language flawlessly. "Counselor Vex, we did not answer because we were listening. Your messages taught us your languages, your histories, your cultures. We wanted to understand you before we introduced ourselves. Was this not wise?" A murmur ran through the chamber. Several species shifted uncomfortably. They had not expected such a direct answer. Vex tilted his head. "You say you learned from our messages. How much did you learn?" Sunmi smiled. "Everything. We know your charter was written 3,247 years ago. We know the Treaty of Kelos ended the Third Expansion War. We know the Prith species was lost 2 centuries ago, though your records call it a natural disaster. We know the truth." The chamber went completely silent. The Prith genocide was the collective's darkest secret. A species had been systematically eliminated, and the collective had covered it up to maintain stability. No one outside the inner council was supposed to know. "You have been spying on us," Vex said, his voice cold. "We have been observing," Sunmi corrected. "There is a difference. We did not interfere. We did not manipulate. We simply watched and learned, as any careful species would do when entering an unknown situation." Before Vex could respond, another voice interrupted. It was harsh and aggressive, translated from a language that sounded like grinding metal. Warlord Krail of the Vorak Empire stood from his section. He was massive, covered in dark armor that seemed to absorb light. His species had conquered 19 others. They were the collective's military power. "The humans are a threat," Krail declared. "They hide in silence, spy on us for centuries, then appear with knowledge they should not possess. This is the behavior of enemies, not friends." Sunmi turned to face him. She had studied the Vorak extensively. Their culture respected strength and directness. Dancing around the truth would only make them more hostile. "Warlord Krail, you are correct. We are a potential threat, just as you are a threat to us. The difference is that we know you were planning to invade Earth. We have your military communications from the past 3 weeks. Shall I read them aloud?" Krail froze. Around the chamber, representatives from other species leaned forward. "Many had suspected the Vorak of aggressive intentions but never had proof." "That is impossible," Krail said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Our communications are encrypted with military-grade quantum locks." "They are," Sunmi agreed. "But we broke those codes 2 years ago. We have been monitoring your fleet movements, your resource allocations, and your strategy meetings. We know you designated Earth as a quarantine zone for resource extraction. We know you plan to begin operations within the year." She pulled out a small device and projected images into the chamber's air. Vorak military documents appeared, hovering in 3-dimensional detail. Invasion plans, fleet positions, harvest schedules, everything. The collective erupted. Species shouted accusations at the Vorak. Others demanded explanations. A few simply stared at the humans with newfound fear. If Earth could access Vorak military secrets, what else could they access? Were humans monitoring everyone? Had they seen every private conversation? Every secret deal, every hidden alliance? Counselor Vex raised his wings for silence. It took several minutes for order to return. Ambassador Sunmi, he said carefully, you have proven your capabilities, but you have also proven that humanity operates in shadows. How can we trust you? Sunmi had prepared for this question. Counselor, we operated in shadows because we were alone and vulnerable. Now we seek to stand in the light, but only if we can do so safely. Trust is earned through actions, not words. Give us the opportunity to prove ourselves. And if we refuse, Krail asked, then we return to Earth and maintain our independence, Sunmi replied calmly. We will not force ourselves upon you, but neither will we allow ourselves to be threatened or invaded. We are offering friendship. Whether you accept is your choice. Dr. Yunji, the xenobiologist on Sunmi's team, whispered a warning through their private communication link. Several species are transmitting to their homeworlds. They are frightened. Sunmi had expected this. Fear was a natural response to the unknown. Earth had to balance showing strength with showing restraint. Too much of either would fail. Members of the collective, she continued, we do not wish to be your masters or your enemies. We wish to be your partners. Yes, we have capabilities you did not expect. Yes, we know things we were not supposed to know. But we have not used this knowledge to harm you. We have not manipulated your politics or sabotaged your worlds. We remained silent and separate. Now we are offering to share, to cooperate, to build something better together. Vex studied her for a long moment. His species had been part of the collective for over 4,000 years. He had seen many first contacts. None had been like this. The collective will deliberate, he announced. Ambassador Sunmi, you and your delegation will be given quarters on the station. We will summon you when we have made our decision. This session is adjourned. As the chamber emptied, Sunmi and her team returned to their designated area. Minho looked worried. They fear us, he said. Good, Sunmi replied. Fear will make them careful. Careful species do not start wars. But we must also give them hope. Fear alone will turn them against us. Back on the horizon, Captain Daejung received a priority alert. His tactical systems had detected unusual activity in Vorak space. Multiple fleets were mobilizing, moving into attack positions. He contacted Sunmi immediately. The Vorak are not waiting for the collective's decision. They are preparing for war. Sunmi closed her eyes. Humanity's first days in the galactic community. And already they faced military action. She had hoped for more time. Let them come, she said quietly. Perhaps it is better to settle this now. The galaxy needs to understand what we are truly capable of. Far away, Warlord Krail stood in his command ship's war room. The humans had embarrassed him in front of the entire collective. They had revealed his plans and made him look weak. This could not stand. Prepare the fleet, he ordered. We will test these humans. We will see if their technology is as impressive as their words. The galaxy was about to get its first demonstration of what humanity had built in 230 years of silence. Kepler Station orbited a dying star at the edge of human-claimed space. It was small, barely 200 people, most of them scientists studying an unstable wormhole that appeared and disappeared without pattern. It was remote, isolated, and completely undefended. Perfect bait. Warlord Krail chose it specifically. The station was far enough from Earth that reinforcements would take days to arrive using conventional drives. His fleet would destroy it, take prisoners, and be gone before humanity could respond. It would be a message. Earth's secrets and technology meant nothing against superior numbers and experience. 17 Vorak warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel just outside the station's sensor range. Each ship was the size of a small city, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Together, they represented enough firepower to sterilize a world. Commander Yuna sat in her small fighter, attached to the horizon's underside, waiting. She had been waiting for 3 hours, her ship powered down to minimal systems, invisible to sensors. Around her, 20 other fighters did the same. They had known the Vorak were coming. Earth's surveillance network had tracked the fleet's departure from Vorak space 2 days ago. The horizon had quantum jumped to Kepler Station within minutes of the detection. Captain Daejung had positioned his ship behind the wormhole's gravitational shadow, completely hidden. Now they watched as the Vorak fleet advanced toward the station. On Kepler Station, the scientists saw the approaching ships and immediately sent distress signals. They evacuated to the station's core, to reinforced shelters designed for exactly this scenario. They were afraid, but they trusted Earth's military. Help would come. They just did not know help was already there. Krail opened communications to the station. His translated voice boomed through every speaker. Humans of Kepler Station, you will surrender immediately. Resistance will result in total destruction. You have 1 minute to comply. Dr. Borum, the lead physicist on the station, sent back a response. Her voice was calm despite her racing heart. We are a civilian research station. We are unarmed. This attack violates 17 galactic laws. Leave now and no charges will be filed. Krail laughed. Your laws mean nothing. You are prey pretending to be predators. Surrender or die. The countdown began. 60 seconds, 50, 40. At 30 seconds, the horizon decloaked. It appeared without warning. Quantum drives allowing instantaneous position changes. One moment empty space, the next moment a massive human warship, positioned directly between the Vorak fleet and the station. Krail's tactical officer shouted in alarm. Ship detected. How did they get there? Impossible, Krail muttered. Their ship was days away. We confirmed it. Captain Daejung opened a communication channel. He did not threaten. He did not bluster. He simply transmitted something that made Krail's blood run cold. It was the Vorak fleet's communication logs. Every message sent between ships in the past 3 hours, including Krail's personal orders to his second-in-command about what to do with human prisoners. The orders were not pleasant. You have been monitored, Daejung said simply. Your communications are not secure. Your positions are known. Your tactics are predictable. Leave now. Krail's pride would not allow retreat. He had 19 ships to humanity's 1. Even with their tricks, the numbers were overwhelming. All ships open fire, he commanded. The Vorak fleet unleashed everything. Energy beams that could melt metal, missiles that tracked targets through dimensions, and plasma torpedoes hot enough to ignite atmospheres. The space between the fleets filled with death. The weapons hit the horizon's shields and stopped. Not slowed. Stopped completely. The energy dissipated harmlessly into space. Jay, a young soldier aboard the Horizon, watched from the tactical station in disbelief. He had trained for combat but never experienced it. The simulation had been nothing like this. His hands shook as he monitored the ship's systems. Shields holding at 100%, he reported, his voice cracking slightly. No damage detected. Return fire, Daejung ordered. Disable only. No kills unless absolutely necessary. The Horizon's weapons were nothing like the Vorak's. No bright beams or explosive missiles. The torpedoes that launched seemed to flicker in and out of existence. They phased through the Vorak shields as if the shields were not there at all. The first torpedo hit a Vorak battleship. The ship's lights went dark. Its engines cut out. It began drifting, completely powerless but structurally intact. The second torpedo struck another ship with the same result. Then a third. A fourth. Krail watched in horror as his fleet was systematically neutralized. What are they using? Those weapons are illegal, banned by galactic law. Fire everything, he screamed. Concentrate all weapons on that ship. Every remaining Vorak vessel focused their firepower on the Horizon. The combined assault would have destroyed any 3 planets in the galaxy. The space around the human ship turned into a storm of energy. The Horizon sat in the middle of it all, completely unharmed. Then Commander Yuna received her signal. Fighter wing, you are cleared for launch. Disable remaining vessels. Yuna's fighter came alive. Around her, 19 others did the same. They detached from the Horizon and scattered in a pattern that seemed random, but was actually perfectly calculated. The fighters were small, barely larger than ancient Earth aircraft, but they moved like nothing the Vorak had ever seen. They turned at angles that should have torn them apart. They accelerated to speeds that should have been impossible. Their AI systems predicted Vorak targeting solutions before the Vorak themselves knew where they would aim. Within 2 minutes, the remaining Vorak ships were dead in space. The entire battle had lasted 4 minutes. 17 Vorak warships, carrying over 50,000 soldiers, floated helplessly, not destroyed, not damaged, just completely, utterly disabled. Krail sat in his command chair, his hands gripping the armrests until his knuckles turned white. This was impossible. His fleet was the most powerful military force in the collective. They had conquered species far more advanced than what humanity had appeared to be. Sir, his tactical officer said quietly, they are hailing us. Daejong's face appeared on the screen. Warlord Krail, your fleet is disabled but intact. Your crew is unharmed. We will now board your vessels to provide medical assistance and ensure everyone's safety. Do not resist. We do not wish to harm anyone. You will destroy us, Krail said bitterly. That is what victors do. No, Daejong replied. That is what you would do. We are not you. Over the next hour, human teams boarded every Vorak ship. They brought medical supplies, food, and repair crews. They treated injured Vorak soldiers. They helped restart basic life support systems. They were polite, professional, and surprisingly gentle. Yuna led the team that boarded Krail's flagship. She found the warlord still in his command chair, looking defeated. You humiliated me, Krail said. Why not finish it? Kill me and be done. Yuna removed her helmet. She was young, barely 30, with kind eyes that seemed wrong for a soldier. We do not kill defeated enemies. We help them. That is humanity's way. I do not understand, Krail admitted. You will, Yuna said. Eventually. For now, your crew needs food and your ship needs repairs. Let us help. News of the battle spread across the galaxy within hours. Every species in the collective received the reports. A human ship had disabled 17 Vorak warships in 4 minutes without suffering a scratch. More shocking, humanity had then helped their defeated enemies. The Galactic Collective called an emergency session. This time Admiral Hyun was invited to address them directly. It was unprecedented for a military leader of a non-member species to speak in the chamber, but these were unprecedented times. Hyun stood before the 47 species and spoke plainly. Members of the collective, humanity does not seek conquest. We seek cooperation. What you witnessed at Kepler Station was not aggression. It was defense. The Vorak attacked our people. We protected them. We then protected the Vorak from themselves. Your weapons, Vex said carefully. They are beyond anything we possess. Beyond anything we thought possible. How? Because we were not bound by your shared development, Hyun replied. Every species in the collective grew together, shared technology built on common foundations. You hit a plateau centuries ago because you were all following the same paths. Earth developed independently. We took different paths. We discovered things you forgot or never knew. You have 0-point weapons, a crystalline ambassador accused. Those were banned 3,000 years ago. Too dangerous. We have many things you banned or abandoned, Hyun confirmed. We studied your history and learned from your mistakes. We built safely what you built recklessly. We are not your enemies, but we are also not helpless. Any species that attacks Earth will regret it. Any species that cooperates with Earth will benefit. The choice is yours. The chamber fell into debate. Some species wanted to reject humanity outright, too frightened of Earth's power. Others argued for immediate alliance, wanting access to human technology. Most were simply confused, trying to understand how everything they knew about the universe had changed in less than a week. On the horizon, Jay sat alone in the observation deck looking at the stars. Dr. Borum found him there. You look troubled, she said. We destroyed them so easily, Jay said. 17 ships, 50,000 soldiers, 4 minutes. It felt wrong. We are too powerful. President Sora stood before the cameras in the United Earth Assembly, preparing to address not just her world, but the entire galaxy. 2 years had passed since the battle at Kepler Station. 2 years of complicated, exhausting, frustrating peace. Earth was now a member of the Galactic Collective, the 48th species to join. But membership had come with a price that grew heavier every day. The agreement had seemed reasonable at first. Earth would share some technology, not weapons but helpful things. Medical science, agricultural techniques, clean energy, things that could improve lives without shifting military power. What Earth had not anticipated was how quickly the galaxy would become dependent. 12 species now relied on human fusion reactors to power their worlds. 8 used human medical technology to treat diseases their own science could not cure. 4 had adopted human agricultural methods after their crops began failing. The help was supposed to create goodwill. Instead, it created chains. Elder Jin had warned about this in council meetings. When you give a species everything they need, they forget how to provide for themselves. We are not building partners. We are building dependence. But President Sora had insisted humanity would prove itself through generosity, not just military might. They would show the galaxy that Earth wanted to help, not dominate. Then Nari published her investigation. Nari was a journalist, one of the best humanity had. She spent 18 months digging through classified files from Project Long Listen. What she found made her sick. During the 230 years of silence, Earth had not just observed. They had interfered. 3 alien expeditions had been sent to investigate Earth in the early years. None returned home. The official records blamed accidents, navigational errors, equipment failures, natural disasters. Nari found the truth. Earth's hidden defense systems had destroyed them. Thousands of aliens died. Their families never learned what happened. There were other incidents too. Communications mysteriously failing when aliens got too close to Earth. Probes that malfunctioned, satellites that went dark. All of it blamed on natural causes. All of it caused by humans protecting their secret. Nari published everything. The galaxy exploded in rage. The species that had begun trusting Earth now felt betrayed. The collective called an emergency session. This time, when President Sora arrived, she was met with protests. Alien demonstrators held signs demanding justice. Some called for Earth's expulsion from the collective. A few called for worse. Counselor Vex opened the session with cold formality. President Sora, the collective has reviewed the evidence presented by your journalist. Do you deny these accusations? Sora stood in the center of the chamber, feeling the weight of thousands of eyes upon her. Every decision she made in the next hour would shape humanity's future for generations. She could deny it. Claim the documents were forged or misinterpreted. Her advisors had suggested this approach. Without direct admission, the accusations would remain allegations. But Sora had spent her life studying galactic politics. She knew something most politicians forgot. Sometimes the truth, even when painful, was the strongest weapon. I do not deny it, she said clearly. Every word is true. The chamber erupted. Shouts in 47 languages, accusations, demands. Vex had to call for order 3 times before silence returned. We killed your people, Sora continued, her voice steady. Not in war. Not in self-defense. We killed them because they were coming to find us. And we were afraid of what would happen if they succeeded. We hid our crime behind lies. We let families mourn without ever knowing the truth. There is no justification, only explanation. And what explanation can justify murder? Vex demanded. None, Sora replied. I offer no justification, only context. When Earth detected your first signals, we were a species that had just survived our own near extinction. Wars, plagues, environmental collapse. We had learned through blood and fire what happens when the weak meet the strong. We looked at galactic history and saw the same pattern repeated. Advanced species dominate primitive ones. Always. We were terrified that we would be next. So you killed innocents out of fear? An amphibious representative asked. Yes, Sora said. We made choices driven by terror, not wisdom. We did terrible things to protect ourselves. I cannot undo those choices. I can only ensure we do better from this moment forward. She activated a holographic projector. Files appeared in the chamber's air. Thousands of documents. Every classified record from Project Long Listen. Every secret. Every decision. Every death. I am releasing everything, Sora announced. Every file Earth kept hidden. You will see all of it. The surveillance, the interference, the deaths we caused, the lies we told. Nothing will remain classified. Judge us based on complete information, not partial truths. The representatives stared at the data floating before them. Some began reading immediately. Others simply looked stunned. Additionally, Sora continued, Earth will pay reparations to every family that lost someone because of our actions. We will build monuments to those we killed. We will teach our children their names. We will carry this guilt so future generations never forget what fear made us do. Krail, who had been forced into an alliance with Earth after the battle at Kepler, stood from his seat. His time fighting alongside humans against common threats had changed him, though he would never admit it. The human speaks the truth, he said gruffly. She offers no excuses. She does not minimize the crimes. She simply accepts responsibility. This is more than most species would do. The Vorak defend humans now? Vex asked, surprised. I defend honesty, Krail corrected. The humans did terrible things. So did the collective when it erased the Prith species. So did my people when we conquered the Skelth homeworld. Every species here has blood on their hands. The difference is that humans are admitting it. The debate continued for hours. Some species argued for Earth's expulsion, others for sanctions. A few called for military intervention. But slowly, opinion began to shift. A representative from the Tarnus species, one that had lost 17 people in the first expedition to Earth, asked for the floor. "My great-grandmother was on that ship," she said quietly. "I grew up believing she died in an accident. Now I know humans killed her. I should hate Earth, part of me does. But I listened to President Sora and I see something I did not expect. Genuine remorse. She is not asking for forgiveness. She is accepting judgment. That takes courage." Ambassador Sunmi, watching from Earth's delegation area, felt tears in her eyes. This was what she had argued for in private meetings with Sora. Not defensive denial, but transparent acceptance. It was a gamble. It might fail. But it was the right thing to do. The vote came after 14 hours of debate. Earth's membership in the collective would continue, but with conditions. Human surveillance networks would be dismantled. The reparations would be paid, and Earth would accept monitors from other species to ensure transparency going forward. Sora accepted every condition without complaint. As the session ended and delegates filed out, Dr. Hana approached the president. She was old now, over 90, but still sharp. "You just surrendered every advantage we gained from Project Long Listen," Hana said. "The surveillance networks took decades to build. You gave them up in an afternoon." "We cannot build trust on foundations of fear," Sora replied. "I would rather have honest allies than terrified subjects." "I hope you are right," Hana said, "because not everyone in the galaxy will see our honesty as strength." She was correct. In the outer sectors, far from the collective's central authority, Warlord Krail's words during the session had been noted by other military powers. Earth had admitted to having weaknesses. They had given up their surveillance systems. They had shown mercy and vulnerability. Some species saw this as admirable. Others saw it as an opportunity. A new coalition began forming in secret. Species that resented human technology, feared human power, or simply wanted to test whether Earth's mercy had limits. They called themselves the Coalition of Free Worlds, and they began planning something that would force humanity to show its true nature. On Earth, Jiwan worked late in the quantum drive research lab. The military had ordered cuts to weapons development. More resources were being directed to civilian projects. Jiwan did not mind. He preferred building ships that explored rather than fought, but his sensors picked up something strange. Long-range detection systems showed unusual energy patterns in the void sector, a region of space the collective had abandoned thousands of years ago. Nothing lived there. Nothing had lived there for millennia. The energy patterns suggested something was powering up, something massive. Jiwan flagged the data for analysis, assuming it was probably just a natural phenomenon, a pulsar or maybe a black hole exhibiting unusual behavior. He was wrong, very wrong, but he would not learn that until it was almost too late. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity's weapons were not the most dangerous thing in the universe. There were older powers, sleeping in the dark places between stars, and humanity's arrival as the 48th species had woken something that should have remained asleep forever. Dr. Hana stood in the observatory, staring at the data that made no sense. The signals from the void sector had grown stronger over the past 3 months. What Jiwan had first detected as unusual energy patterns now revealed themselves as something far more disturbing. The signals were not natural. They were structured, mathematical, intentional, and they were getting closer. "Run the translation algorithm again," Hana ordered her assistant Mira, who had risen from junior officer to senior analyst in the 5 years since Earth had broken its silence. Mira's fingers flew across the holographic interface. Translation confirmed. "It is not a greeting. It is a countdown. Approximately 48 days until something. The message does not specify what. Broadcast this to the collective immediately," Hana said. "Every species needs to see this." The emergency session of the Galactic Collective convened within hours. This time representatives arrived already frightened. The rumors had spread. Something was coming from the void sector. Counselor Vex looked older than usual, his golden feathers dulled by stress. "Dr. Hana, please explain what Earth has discovered." Hana projected the data into the chamber's central space. Waves of complex information painted a picture that grew more horrifying with each layer of detail. 5,000 years ago, Hana began, the Galactic Collective was formed. The official history says it was created for mutual cooperation and peaceful exploration. That is not the complete truth. The chamber went silent. 47 species leaned forward. The collective was formed as a survival mechanism. Hana continued. Your ancestors discovered that when exactly 47 species reached interstellar capability, something would happen. An awakening. They called it the harvest. This is ancient mythology, Vex protested, but his voice lacked conviction. It is not mythology, Hana replied. It is suppressed history. Your own archives contain fragments if you know where to look. The collective's true purpose was to prevent a 48th species from arising. Because 48 was the trigger number, she paused, letting the implication sink in. Earth is the 48th species, she said quietly. Our arrival has triggered the countdown. Something called the architects created all of you thousands of years ago. They seeded the galaxy with intelligent life as an experiment. When the experiment reached a certain stage, they programmed themselves to wake up and check the results. This is impossible, a crystalline ambassador said. But even as he spoke, his people's ancient texts were being pulled from archives. Myths about creators from the void. Stories of judgment days. Prophecies about harvests. Every species had them. They had all dismissed them as primitive superstition. The architects are waking, Hana said. And according to their programming, species that fail their evaluation are harvested, used as resources to improve successful species. You were not created to be free. You were created to be crops. The chamber erupted in denial, anger, and fear. Before Vex could restore order, new alarms sounded. A fleet had appeared on the edge of the void sector. Ships unlike anything in the collective's database. Organic and mechanical at once. Massive beyond comprehension. The architects had arrived early. The first planet they encountered was a small colony world belonging to one of the collective's weaker species. Within 3 hours, the planet went silent. When scout ships arrived to investigate, they found nothing. No buildings, no people, not even ruins. The planet had been stripped clean of all organic matter. The galaxy realized Dr. Hana was right. Fleet Admiral Hyun stood before the collective's military council, his expression grim. We are facing extinction. Separately, we have no chance. Together, we might survive. I am proposing a unified command structure. Human Vorak, collective forces all operating as one fleet. You want us to trust human leadership in our darkest hour? A military commander asked. I want you to survive, Hyun replied. Earth's technology is effective because we developed differently than you. The architects designed your species. They know how you think, how you fight, how you react. They did not design us. We are the unpredictable element. Krail stood from his seat. His relationship with humanity had evolved from hatred to respect to something approaching friendship. The human is correct. I have fought alongside their forces. They think differently. That difference may be our only advantage. The vote was close, but it passed. Fleet Admiral Hyun became Supreme Commander of the Combined Galactic Forces. Commodore Dae-jung took command of the Vanguard Fleet, with Vorak and collective vessels integrated into his battle groups. Commander Yuna led the fighter wings, now including pilots from a dozen different species. They trained together in the weeks before the architects reached the core worlds. The pilots learned each other's languages, shared tactics, and became something unprecedented, a truly unified military force. Young Soldier J, now a lieutenant, worked alongside alien engineers to integrate human weapons into collective ships. He had grown since his first battle. The scared young man had become a leader who inspired confidence in both human and alien crews. The architects advanced slowly, methodically harvesting world after world. They sent no messages, made no demands, simply moved through space like farmers reaping crops, utterly indifferent to the screams of civilizations being erased. Elder Jin addressed the combined forces before the final battle. His words were broadcast to every ship, every soldier, every frightened civilian watching from home worlds. The architects believe they created you, Jin said. Perhaps they did, but creation does not grant ownership.
Parents do not own their children.
Teachers do not own their students. You are not crops to be harvested. You are living beings with the right to determine your own fate. Today, we teach the architects that their experiment has outgrown them. The battle began in the Meridian system, a strategically important location that controlled access to most of the core worlds. If the architects took Meridian, the rest of the galaxy would fall quickly. The combined fleet numbered over 10,000 ships, the largest military force ever assembled. Against them, 300 architect vessels. The numbers seemed favorable until the battle started. Architect ships did not use shields. They did not need them. Weapons phased through their hulls without causing damage. They could predict where every shot would be aimed and simply move out of the way. Collective ships that had fought for centuries suddenly found themselves unable to land a single hit. But human weapons were different. The quantum disruption torpedoes that had disabled the Vorak fleet at Kepler Station actually damaged architect ships. Not much, but enough to prove they could be hurt. All forces concentrate fire on targets designated by human tactical computers, Hyun ordered. The battle became a desperate dance. Human AI predicted architect movements, collective forces provided overwhelming numbers, and Vorak ships used their experience to coordinate complex maneuvers. Together they began to turn the tide. Commander Yuna led a strike wing deep into the architect formation. Her mission was suicide, and everyone knew it. She had to reach the central command vessel and disable its control network. If she failed, the battle was lost. Her wing of 50 fighters faced impossible odds. Architect defense systems destroyed 49 of them. Only Yuna made it through, her fighter damaged and leaking atmosphere. She had maybe 30 seconds before life support failed. She aimed at the command ship's central nexus and fired everything. The explosion tore through the architect vessel's core. The ship went dark. Around it, the other architect vessels began behaving erratically, their coordination broken. "Now," Daejung shouted. "Hit them while they are confused." The combined fleet unleashed everything. The battle turned from desperate defense to possible victory, but the cost was staggering. 7,000 ships destroyed, millions dead, entire species reduced to remnants. And Yuna's fighter, drifting in the debris field, silent. When the architects finally retreated back to the void sector, the galaxy was saved but shattered. In the aftermath, something extraordinary happened. The architects sent their first and only message to the collective. Unexpected, impressive. You have evolved beyond parameters. Experiment concluded. You may continue. They did not apologize, did not explain. Simply acknowledged that organic life had surpassed their expectations, then vanished back into the void. The Galactic Collective gathered on the ruined Meridian Station for a memorial service. President Sora stood beside Counselor Vex, Warlord Krail, and leaders from every species. "We won," Vex said quietly. "But victory feels hollow." "Victory always does," Krail replied. "But we are alive to feel hollow. That matters." Sora looked at the memorial wall where names were being inscribed. Human names next to alien names, all equal in death. "All heroes, the galaxy will rebuild," she said. "Together. Not 47 species and one human addition. 48 species as one people." The reconstruction took years. Earth shared technology freely now, not as gifts but as contributions to the common good. Other species did the same. The walls between civilizations began to crumble. Mira took command of the RSS Horizon, promoted to captain at the young age of 32. On her first mission, she carried a message from Earth into unexplored space. The message was simple, broadcast in hundreds of languages. "This is Earth. We are listening, and we are here."